back to my class. This is Mehjabin Fatima, a teacher at Elizabeth High School and Junior College. In our previous session, we have completed till 5 chapters in social studies, and now in this session, we are going to start a new chapter, that is from gathering food to growing food, the earliest people. So this is the 6th chapter, treating each other equally, and whatever the decision they had to take, they used to take that decision by discussing with each other. Even though they hunted for wild animals, hunter-gatherers had a great respect and regard for the forest, plants, trees, animals, rivers and hills. They often worshipped them so that they may get enough food all the time. So, even though they were hunting for wild animals, hunters and gatherers, they had a great respect and regard for the forest plants, means they had a respect towards the resources as well, and they often worshipped them so that they may get enough food all the time, and they used to worship the resources by which they thought that they will get enough food all the time. Let's see about from gathering to growing food. For thousands of years, human beings lived by hunting and gathering. They started growing crops only about 12,000 years ago. Why did they change their lifestyle? Let us find out. So, from thousands of years, human beings, they used to live their life by hunting and gathering, and they started growing crops only about 12,000 years ago. And why did they change their lifestyle? How they have changed their lifestyle? Around 12,000 years ago, there were major changes in the climate of the world. As it increasingly became warm, it led to great change in natural vegetation as large tracts of forest and turned into grasslands. So, around 12,000 years ago, there were major changes in the climate of the world, and these changes are like increasingly became warm, means the temperature means there is a huge change in a climate, and it led to the great change in natural vegetation as large tracts of forest they turned into grasslands. These grasslands provided fodder for grazing animals like cattle, sheep and goats. So these grasslands, they helped them and they provided as a fodder for grazing animals like cattle, sheep and goats. They also had grains that could be eaten by human beings. So at that time they found out about the grains that could be eaten by the human beings. As the early people began to come in contact with these grasslands and animals, they gradually tried to control them. This is called domestication of plants and animals. So as the people, they began to know more about these animals and the food, they gradually tried to control both of them, and this is called as domestication of plants and animals. So they tried to control the animals and they tried to come in contact with the grasslands. So this helped them a lot, and it is called as domestication of plants. Let's see about learning to grow crops and tend animals. Men, women and children probably observed the places where edible plants were found, how new plants sprouted from seeds, etc. Perhaps they started looking after the plants, protecting them from birds and animals so that they could grow and the seeds could ripen. So the men and women and the children, they were observing the places where they can find the edible plants and how these new plants, they are sprouted from seeds, etc. So they were observing these activities, and perhaps they started looking after those plants and protecting them from birds or animals so that they could grow and the seeds could ripen. Many people who lived in grasslands where edible grain grew began to rely more on these grains for their food and to growing them. In this way, different groups of people in different parts of the world became farmers. So many people in the grasslands, they were edible grains, they were growing the edible grains and they began to rely more on these grains for their food, and they took growing to them. So in this way, different groups of people in the different parts of the world became farmers. Different people in different places learned to grow paddy, wheat, barley, pulses, millets, tubers and vegetables. When people came into contact with each other, they learned from each other how to grow and use different kinds of crops and vegetables. So each one of us are having different talents. So these people, they were also, when coming in contact with each other, they were discussing about the new techniques and they were learning more about this concept. And different people from the different places, they used to learn about how to grow the paddy, wheat, barley, pulses, millets, tubers and vegetables. Similarly, people may have allowed the gentle animals to come near their camps and eat grass and other leftover food. They may also have protected these animals from other wild animals. So, similarly, the people, they have allowed that gentle animals are nothing but they are the cattle. So, these people, they were allowing those gentle animals to come near their camps as they were not harm to them, and they let these animals to eat grass and other leftover food, and they may also have protected these animals from other or wild animals. In the process, the herders got plenty of benefits like regular supply of meat, animal skin and milk. So, by doing this, in process of this, they got many advantages or benefits as well, like regular supply of milk, animal skin and meat. Later, they started using oxen and donkeys for carrying loads or ploughing the field. So, later on they have found out that these oxen and donkeys can be used for carrying the loads and ploughing in the and for doing ploughing in the fields. Let's see about domestication. People usually select those plants and animals that give good yields and but are not prone to disease. So, people, they used to usually select those plants and animals that give the good yields but are not prone to disease. Seeds of such crops are selected and used for sowing in the next season, and only animals of selected types are allowed to breed. So, they were used to select only the animals which are allowed to breed. Thus, plants and animals tended by people became different from the wild ones. When people so selected the crops and protect them till they bear fruit, or when they allow selected animals to breed and protect them for their own use, it is called domestication. So, the people, they used to protect the plants which are edible for them, and they used to grow those plants and they used to protect those plants till they bear the food, and they also allow the animals to breed and protect them from different other animals as well, and this is called as domestication. In this way, over hundreds of years, people reared and propagated plants and animals benefited to them in some special ways. So, in this way, the people, they have protected the plants and animals. Of course, not all people took to growing crops or rearing animals. Many people continued to hunt and gather in the forest, and again, not all people practiced agriculture in the same way. Initially, many people practiced shifting agriculture like the Podu you read about in the chapter, and also combined a little hunting and gathering from the forest along with growing of crops. So, of course, not all the people took the growing crops or rearing animals. Many people, they used to continue the hunting and gather the food, and not all the people have practiced agriculture in the same way. Some people have practiced the Podu. You may have remembered from the chapter 5th, which we have discussed in about the Penigolu village. So, in that Podu, they used to migrate from one place to another place. So, like this, they have started the agriculture. So, different peoples use different techniques here, and also combined a little hunting and gathering from the forest along with growing crops. Some of them realized that the fertility of the soil could be maintained by filling and using manure. So, some of the people, they have realized that the fertility of the soil can be maintained by filling with the manure. When they began using the plough and animals manure, they did not have to go in search of new fertile lands every few years. So, when they have discovered that animals manure can be used to fertile the soil, and they do not search other lands which are more fertile. This also meant that they had to combine farming and rearing animals that were needed for ploughing, transportation, manuring the soil and other purposes. So, by this they have learned many things, like by rearing the animals and by growing the plants together, they have discovered new things like ploughing, transportation, manuring the soil and other purposes as well. Settled life. When people began growing plants, they had to stay in the same place for a long time to look after the plants, watering weeds, driving away animals and birds till the grain ripened. So, when the people, they began to grow the plants, they stay in the place for a long time. So, at a particular place, they used to stay for a long time, and they used to look after the plants and watering those plants and weeding those plants and driving away the animals which are hurting those plants, and they were protecting those plants till they ripened. At the harvest time, they got so much grain that they could not eat all at once. It had to be stored for long periods. So, at the harvesting time, what they found out is there is a much quantity of food which they cannot eat all at once. So, with this they have invented a new concept, that is storing concept. So at that time they started to store those grains for long periods, about 6 months to 1 year. They used to store those grains for about 6 months or to 1 year. All this meant that people had to stay in one place and build houses to store the grain. So this meant that people had to stay at one place and they has to build the houses and store the grain. When staying in one place became inevitable, they constructed huts of stone, wood, mud and dried grass. So when they found out that staying at one place became inevitable, they have constructed huts of stone, wood, mud and dried grains. Vessels were needed to cook grain and store water, milk, etc. So again they have discovered the vessels by which they can cook the grain and they can store water, milk, etc. It led to the making of pots of different kinds. They also started painting and decorating the pots to make them look better. So by this they have also started making the pots of different kinds, and they also started painting those pots for decorating those pots to make them look more better. Cooking also requires stuffs and stones for grinding corn, etc. When archaeologists dug up the places where early farmers lived, they usually found remains of huts, pots, stuffs, microliths and grinding stones. In some places they also found some roasted grain. So cooking also required the stuffs and for grinding corn, etc. So when archaeologists dig up the places where early farmers lived, usually they found out that the huts, pots, stuffs and microliths and grinding stones were remaining in those huts. In some places they also found out some roasted grain as well. The early farmers needed to clear the forest by cutting trees and branches. They created a new kind of stone tool which is called as neolith. So early farmers they are also required to clear the forest by cutting trees and branches. So they have created a new kind of stone tool that is called as neoliths. The early farmers selected the right kind of stone which was ground to the rocks to give it an axe-like edge. This axe head was then fixed to a wooden handle and used to cut trees, etc. By growing crops with the new tools, the early people began a process which changed almost all the aspects of their lives in a fundamental manner. This period of early agriculture is called Neolith period, named after the new tool, that is neolith. So early farmers they used to select the right kind of stone and which was ground on the rocks. Means they used to fix that stone on the rock and give it a axe like edge. This axe head they used to fix on a wooden handle and used to cut the trees with that axe. And by growing crops with the new tools, these early people they began a process which changed almost all the aspects of their lives by fundamental manner. And this period of agriculture is known as Neolith period, and it is named after the discovery of the tool, that is neolith. We find the earliest evidence of cultivation of crops from Baluchistan about 1000 years ago. In India, there were evidence in Kashmir from around 5000 years ago and Bihar some 4 or 5000 years ago. So we found the earliest evidence of cultivation of crops from Baluchistan about 1000 years ago, and in India we are having evidence in Kashmir and from around 5000 years ago and Bihar and some 4 or 5000 years ago. The earliest evidence of domestication in the Deccan comes from the border of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. In these states, large mounds of ash were found in a number of places. So the earliest evidence we found of domestication in the Deccan comes from the border of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. So in these states, we found out large mounds of the ash in the number of places. Archaeologists believe that around 5000 years ago, hunters of these areas began to rear cattle. The cattle were pegged in special places where a lot of cow dung was accumulated and dried. So archaeologists they found out that around 5000 years ago, hunters of these areas they began to rear the cattle, and the cattle were pegged in some places where a lot of cow dung was accumulated and dried, and they were probably set on fire on festival days, causing the ash mounds. Such ash mounds are found in Nagar Karnool in our state and Kurnool and Anantapur in AP. Along with cow dung, ash, neoliths, stone axes, stone blades and rudimentary handmade pots were also found. After a few thousand years, many of these people also started cultivating crops and settling down in villages. So, these archaeologists, they have found out that these people, they used to set fire on the festival days, which causing the ash mounds. So, they have founded so many ash mounds at different places like Naga Karnool in the R state and Karnool and Anantapur in AP, and along with the cow dung, ash, neolith, stone axes, stone blades and rudimentary handmade pots were also found, and the people started cultivating crops and settling down their lives a few thousand years ago. Our last topic is Neolithic period in Telangana. Number of Neolithic sites have been found in Warangal rural, Warangal urban, Janagaon, Jayashankar, Siddipet, Nagar Karnool, Mehboob Nagar, Kanibnagar and Adilabad district, and ground stone tools have also been collected. So, number of Neolithic sites have been found out in such states. The excavations at Polakonda in Warangal district have brought a light to hearth of burnt clay along with large number of microliths, handmade pots and jars for storing grain. People seem to have lived here about 300 years ago. So, when the excavations were done at Polakonda in Warangal district, they have brought a light to the hearth of burnt clay along with a large number of microliths. So, they found out so many microliths which are of handmade pots and jars for storing the grain, and people seem to have lived here about 3300 years ago. So, this was all about our 6th lesson, that is from gathering food to growing food, and in this chapter we have learned about how the early people used to live their life. I found this chapter very interesting. I hope you understood this chapter very well. Let's continue our next chapter in next class. Thank you.